Welcome! Today, we're digging into a really fascinating story about a business that was, well, on the brink of failure. But we're going to see how one small, kind of overlooked change completely turned things around. It's all about finding that one hidden lever that can unlock just massive results. All right, so let's just jump right in. Picture this. You're in charge of a struggling company. The numbers, they're not looking good. So what's your first move? What lever do you pull? I mean, it's a classic problem, right? But as we're about to see, the most obvious answers are not always the best ones. $500,000. That was the annual revenue for the company we're talking about today. And, on the surface, that sounds pretty good. $500,000 coming in the door is nothing to sneeze at. But that's just the top line, right? It's the total sales. And as anyone in business knows, revenue is only one piece of the puzzle. The real health of a company, the thing that really tells you if it's going to live or die, is usually hidden a little deeper in the numbers. And here's where the story takes a sharp turn. 5%. That was the company's net profit margin. So for every single dollar that came in from those $500,000 in sales, only 5 cents was actually left over after all the bills got paid. Just 5 cents. And believe it or not, the situation was actually worse than it looked. According to the internal report, that tiny 5% margin had been shrinking year after year. So this wasn't just a bad quarter. This was a really dangerous downward spiral that was putting the whole business at risk. This level of financial trouble is so serious, it actually has an official accounting term. It's a label that signals a company is truly on the brink of collapse. The term is a going concern. Now, ironically, a going concern is what you want to be. It means you're healthy. This business, though, was in real danger of losing that status. To put it simply, their own accountants were worried they couldn't pay their bills and might have to just sell everything off. It was absolutely a code red situation. So, facing this crisis, what did the leadership team do? Well, they did what most of us would do. They looked straight to the two most common solutions, the two moves that pretty much every business leader thinks of first when the numbers start to look back. So option one was pretty straightforward, just sell more stuff. But here was the trap. Selling more also meant spending more, so that dangerous 5% profit margin didn't budge. Option two, cut expenses everywhere. But the problem with that is it's kind of like doing surgery with a sledgehammer. You often end up hurting morale and the company's ability to actually function. So yeah, neither of those options was a real fix. They were just temporary band-aids that didn't get to the root of the problem. What the company really needed was something else, a third, less obvious, but way more powerful lever to pull. And this was the turning point. Instead of focusing on total revenue or total expenses, they asked a much smarter question. As the case study's author put it, what about the cost per unit? So check this out. Here's what happened when they focused on reducing the cost of goods sold, or COGS, which is just the direct cost to make each item. With the exact same revenue and the exact same number of sales, they doubled their net profit from $25,000 to $50,000. I mean, look at that. Every single number got dramatically better. I mean, just look at this chart. It says it all. Same company, same sales. The only thing that changed was that internal focus on being more efficient. And profit didn't just go up a little bit. It literally doubled. Now that's the power of finding the right lever. And the team's internal report just confirms it. This was the big breakthrough moment. It just goes to show you don't always have to go out and chase more customers or take a hatchet to your budget. Sometimes the biggest wins come from making what you already sell just a little bit smarter. Okay, so doubling the profit is a huge win, no doubt. But was this new financial foundation built on solid rock, or was it built on sand? Well, to find out, the team ran a stress test. They basically threw a massive, unexpected financial shock at the business just to see if it would break. And they really didn't pull any punches. They modeled what would happen if the company was suddenly slammed with a bill for an extra $105,000 in new taxes and tariffs. Now, for the old version of this business, with its tiny little margin, this would have been a knockout blow. Game over. But because of their new foundation, they had options. If they just absorbed all the new costs, yeah, they'd take a loss. But if they passed those costs on to their customers, they could still walk away with their entire $50,000 profit and a really healthy 8.3% margin. That right there is financial resilience. And this is why a healthy profit margin is so much more than just a number on a spreadsheet. It's like the company's immune system. It's the shock absorber that lets it survive the unexpected hits that, let's be honest, every single business faces sooner or later. This case study, it reveals more than just a one-off trick. It's really a powerful and repeatable playbook that the authors called the shrink-to-scale strategy. The logic here is so simple, but it's really powerful. First, you secure your foundation. You focus internally to improve your profit margins. Then, once that efficient structure is in place, you optimize everything around it. And only then do you go after growth, because you know that every new sale is actually making the company stronger and more profitable. And this final quote from the author really just captures the whole spirit of this approach. It's a huge shift in thinking, moving away from just chasing bigger and bigger revenue numbers, and instead focusing on building a smarter, stronger foundation that makes future growth not just possible, but profitable and exciting. So, what's the big takeaway from all of this? I think it's a powerful reminder that the most obvious solution isn't always the most effective one. And it leaves you with a really important question to think about. Whether it's in your business, your career, or even your personal life, what's the hidden lever in your biggest challenge?